Now, if there was a genre that is completely oversaturated at the moment, I would say it's team-based shooters. But if there was an oversaturated genre that actually required real skill to play, it would be MOBAs. Send your hate mail to barjo@goodgame.com.au.
And now with Epic Games' free-to-play MOBA arriving in open beta on PC and PS4, we thought now would be the perfect time to check out Paragon.
Nice work, nice work.
Die! Take my multiple arrows to your face!
Come on.
This thing is just killing me, and I want to kill it, but it's killing me.
Oh my god. He's dead.
Ouch. That was a lot of pain very quickly.
I gotta tell you, even for a MOBA, this is a giant game.
No! The helicopter thing is gonna kill me!
Get him like Harambe. Okay, so this is the MOBA that's supposed to be more accessible. Bam! An hour and a half later.
Go!
Not like this, not like this.
Oh, I want to believe.
Yes! Now, it wasn't until a few years ago I realized I'm a MOBA boy. I used to play League of Legends, I adore Dota 2, and I've recently started to fall quite deeply into Heroes of the Storm. So, I'm a MOBA boy. Hex, are you a MOBA boy?
Not exactly.
Not exactly?
Well, they just seem like a lot of work.
Glory doesn't come for free, Hex! Paragon is a little late to the party, but maybe that was deliberate because it's borrowed elements from all of its big siblings and mixed them together in one of the most graphically impressive MOBAs out there. The staples for the genre are all here. 2 teams of 5 facing off in a map with 3 lanes to destroy each other's crystal, fountain, glowy thing. You're a superpowered freak, but you're given help in the form of creeps, minions, little expendable bullet sponges.
Yeah, what race are those things? You can't really tell because they're wearing armor, but why don't they look like the other characters? They're kind of just a weaponized army of little tiny Oompa Loompas.
Yeah, I find it's best not to ask those kind of questions, Hex. Just let them die. Makes them happy.
There's also a whole maze of underground jungle filled with secret camps of creeps and amber, the game's currency.
It's all classic MOBA, but what is a little less classic is the perspective. As opposed to the isometric Dota 2, League of Legends, Heroes of the Storm approach, Paragon has taken a page out of Smite's book and is third person over the shoulder. Which works, but it does mean you need even more map awareness. Only being able to see what's in front of you leaves you open to some cheeky ganks. And you are going to get ganked because there's a lot of verticality in the game.
It's also inspired by almost every other video game ever made, and it's got lots of guns, which makes it more accessible for newcomers. You might not know all the ins and outs of the meta, or how to last hit, or how this rat has managed to steal Iron Man's suit, but you do know what's gonna happen when you point the reticle at the enemy. And there's lots of little touches that make it more forgiving than other MOBAs. Your health potions refill themselves so you don't have to keep buying new ones. Once you're out of combat for a few seconds, your hero starts to move faster to help you get around the map. And there's no overwhelming item shop where you can buy hundreds of items that all look pretty similar.
No, instead there's a card system, and because it's 2016, legally all games must contain card packs. So this is Paragon's biggest point of difference. Instead of buying items in-game from a shop, you go into a match with a pre-built deck that you can use and upgrade over the course of a match. As a non-MOBA boy, what did you think of this system?
I think, on the whole, it's more manageable. When I think back to Dota, when I would go into the shop in that game, I just would look at all of these rings and items and things, and I was like, I don't know what any of this does or how any of it's gonna help me. This really just seems like it's designed to be a lot more simpler. And by buying things before you go in, it takes the stress out of that mid-battle purchase.
Yeah, because oftentimes you find yourself in the middle of a fight and you're going, do I want a ring or do I want a shield or do I want a defusal?
And then you start reading all the stats and you're just like, and people are like, help me, help me, help
totally.
me.
Yeah, it absolutely helps with that. The only downside I see to it is that I feel like it could make your playstyle quite restrictive in that you've pre-built this deck before you go into the game, so you have to play according to the deck that you've built. And so if the other team pulls out some weird strategy that you've never seen before, you can't adapt. You have to use the items that you've already got. So I wonder how that plays out, over the long term.
There are a ton of cards to pick from though.
Yeah, and that's how Epic's gonna get your money. While all the heroes are free to play, you need to buy card packs to unlock the best items for them to use. And even though you get packs for freezies through playing, I still feel a little about having to pay for items in a MOBA.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they've tried to balance that by making the better items cost more amber to use. So theoretically, people who wanted to use something fancier would have to wait longer to get it than people who are picking more conventional items.
Yeah, it still makes me feel weird though. I guess I'm just used to the pristine equality of Dota where everything's free until you buy all the skins and realize you've contributed 1/3 of the $20 million international prize pool.
The graphics are better than Dota though.
Oh, it looks really pretty though, doesn't it?
I just love the look of this. It's exactly the kind of fantasy art style that I love. You know, ancient stone, muted earthy colors, and moss. I love moss.
There's moss and rocks.
It looks really cool.
Look at these cool like runes in the ground.
Plus, it's a seriously impressive world to run around in. It feels like a map from a single-player campaign.
Yeah, the textures might be better, but it just looks like so Unreal Engine-y.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing, except all games look Unreal Engine-y. It looks so much like an Unreal Engine game that it feels like it should be part of a tutorial on how to build Gears of War 6. Yeah, shots fired against both this game and Gears of War 6. I don't really have a problem with the Unreal Engine, but I'm just like, it's such a showcase for Unreal Engine that in the launcher where you play the game, you can even launch Unreal Engine. So if they're like, if you're inspired by this demo, go make your own game.
I think that's great.
Well,
that's awesome.
Well, good. Why don't you just go work for Epic? Plus, there's a lot of UI in the game, and it can all kind of get in the way. So enough about how the game works. How did this one make you feel? Because you've reviewed Dota 2 and Heroes of the Storm. Is this the MOBA that gets you to become a MOBA boy?
Yeah, I mean, you know, this was instantly more appealing to me than other MOBAs for a few key reasons. I think the skill and ability system was just more accessible. I think the general art style and look of the game was way more appealing to my personal fantasy snobbery. And I got to play this sick lady character with a bow. It was like the MOBA that was designed for Hex. But also I think that third-person view just made me feel much more a part of the action, you know, really in the fight.
Yeah, I love the third-person stuff here. Smite has tried to do that, but it also has a very cartoony look, and weirdly, a lot of the characters are super hyper-sexualized and stuff. Feels kind of light and a bit worthless. Sorry, Smite players. But this one, yeah, this one did feel much more like a single-player game that you just happen to be, you know, playing in this lane scenario.
I just think isometric view, it's like real-time strategy, you know, you're kind of this like overseer of a battle that's happening and you just feel a lot more detached.
Yeah.
And I think because so much of MOBA playstyle is about careful strategic play and hanging back, I get fatigued by that. Whereas this, I felt like I was always in there and things were happening and it was exciting.
And so do you think you'll continue playing it though?
Probably not, only because there just isn't really room in my life for MOBAs.
So I guess that's my question.
The games are really long. We played a game that was like nearly an hour and a half. I know that's not usual, but come on.
That was a giant game.
Oh my god, I thought that would never end.
But I feel at the end we bonded as both friends and exhausted
That's true.
players.
That was a good victory. I think if I was gonna play a MOBA, it would be this one. I would choose this one.
It's interesting though because I'm not entirely sure who is going to play this. I guess you might, but you're not going to, because you go. It's not necessarily going to take people away from the MOBA they're already playing. And even though they're trying to make it more accessible in the same way that Heroes of the Storm has, MOBAs still inherently just have so much depth to them. I go, are you making this game for MOBA players, or are you trying to make people who don't like MOBAs play it, but they don't like MOBAs?
Well, since Paragon is an open beta, we are not going to score it. But if you've been looking to get into MOBAs and maybe find the likes of LoL or Dota 2 a little bit daunting, then this could be kind of a cool foot in the door. I mean, I was surprised at how much I enjoyed this.
Yeah, me too. I think it's actually a pretty solid game. It's not going to drag me away from Dota. I'm already the MOBA boy. But if you're looking to get into MOBAs, this one might drag you in there. As far as MOBAs go, I would say it's done a pretty fine job.
Fine job.
Fine.
I think it did a great
Adequate job.
I think it did a great job.
I'm the paragon
You
of
need
good
a
game
t-shirt
hosts.
that just says MOBA boy.
I do. That was a call to action to you, the audience. With glitter.